From flight attendant to CEO, can someone who started in the cabin really lead one of the biggest airlines? In this video, we'll explore the journey of the first female CEO of a major airline, examining how she transitioned from a flight attendant to the top position. What does her rise signify for a country where only a tiny fraction of companies have a female CEO? By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the challenges she faces, but also how her leadership could reshape the future of Japan Airlines and inspire change in corporate Japan. This is the story of Mitsuko Tottori. In the rigid world of Japanese corporate leadership, where hierarchy and tradition dominate, the appointment of Mitsuko Tottori as the first female CEO of Japan Airlines in April 2024 sent shockwaves across the country. Unlike her predecessors, elite university graduates groomed for leadership, Tottori started her career in 1985 as a flight attendant at Tow Domestic Airlines, TDA, a small carrier that merged with JAL in 2001. Her rise to the top challenges Japan's deeply entrenched corporate norms. Less than 1% of major Japanese companies have a female CEO, and JAL itself has historically been led by men from powerful business and government circles. But Tottori's appointment isn't just symbolic. It comes at a time when JAL faces intense competition, safety concerns, and the lingering effects of past financial disasters. Can an outsider truly reshape one of Japan's most iconic brands? Tottori's career path defies convention. Born on December 31, 1964, she attended Kwasui Women's Junior College, a lesser-known institution in Nagasaki, before joining TDA as a flight attendant in 1985. In an industry where leadership is typically reserved for those with financial or engineering backgrounds, her story stands out. Her early years in aviation coincided with one of Japan's darkest tragedies. On August 12, 1985, Japan Airlines Flight 123, a Boeing 747, crashed into Mount Osutaka, killing 520 people in what remains the deadliest single aircraft accident in history. Tottori was a new recruit at the time, and the disaster left an indelible mark on her. JAL prioritizes safety awareness, she later recalled. Employees are encouraged to climb Mount Osutaka to pay respects to the victims, and the company's Safety Promotion Center displays aircraft wreckage as a stark reminder of past failures. These experiences shaped her leadership philosophy, that an airline is nothing without absolute safety. As the airline industry faced changes, Tottori's role became crucial in managing the challenges of mergers and corporate survival. When TDA became Japan Air System, JAS, and later merged with JAL in 2001, tensions ran high. Mergers often lead to power struggles, and many JAS employees feared being marginalized. But Tottori, who had by then moved into management, played a key role in integrating the two airline cultures. Her approach was practical. Instead of forcing JAS employees to adopt JAL policies blindly, she proposed that both teams co-write a new customer service manual. This subtle move fostered unity and ensured that frontline employees felt heard rather than overruled. Yet, just a few years later, JAL collapsed under its own weight. In 2010, the airline declared bankruptcy, marking the largest non-financial corporate failure in Japan's history. With $25 billion in debt, the government had to step in with a massive bailout. JAL's problems stemmed from deep structural flaws, bloated bureaucracy, weak customer focus, and a history of hiring ex-government officials into executive roles. Kazuo Inamori, a 77-year-old Buddhist monk and retired entrepreneur, was appointed to lead JAL's turnaround. He fired one-third of the company's executives, cut 16,000 jobs, and redirected the airline's focus toward frontline employees, pilots, engineers, and service staff. This shift paved the way for someone like Tottori to rise. Without Inamori's radical restructuring, JAL's leadership pipeline would have remained locked to traditional corporate elites. Just when it seemed things couldn't get more challenging, a crisis would soon push Tottori into a leadership role that would test her skills. By 2023, Tottori had become a senior vice president in charge of customer service and joined JAL's board of directors. But even she didn't anticipate what would happen next. In early 2024, JAL's leadership team was shaken by a major aviation disaster at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. A Japan Airlines Airbus A350 carrying 379 passengers collided with a Coast Guard aircraft. killing 5 crew members on board the smaller plane. The JAL aircraft burst into flames, yet remarkably, every single passenger was evacuated safely within minutes, a testament to the airline's rigorous safety training. The incident put JAL's management under scrutiny. The airline needed a leader who understood safety at its core. Just months later, Tottori was named CEO. Her appointment was met with mixed reactions. Some hailed it as groundbreaking, a sign that Japan's rigid corporate world was evolving. Others saw her as an outsider, a former flight attendant with no experience in finance or aircraft operations. Could she really handle the 1.4 trillion yen, $9.5 billion airline? With the weight of the airline on her shoulders, Tottori faced several major challenges that would require smart solutions and clear strategies. Tottori took office amid one of the most competitive periods in JAL's history. The airline faces 3 critical challenges. First, post-pandemic recovery. Japan's strict COVID-19 border closures lasted nearly 2 years, devastating airlines like JAL and All Nippon Airways, ANA. Although travel demand has rebounded, full recovery depends on China's reopening, Japan's largest source of international tourists before the pandemic. JAL's domestic business is also struggling. Rising costs and a new partnership between low-cost carriers, Peach and Jetstar Japan, threaten its market share. Budget airlines now have a stronger code-sharing agreement, allowing them to sell seats on each other's flights, expanding their reach. Next, safety and operational issues. Despite JAL's safety reputation, recent incidents have raised concerns. In May 2024, 2 JAL planes collided on the ground at Haneda Airport, leading to an official warning from the Transport Ministry. Such incidents put pressure on Tottori to reinforce safety protocols while avoiding overburdening crews with excessive regulations. And third, environmental pressures. The airline industry is under increasing scrutiny for its carbon footprint. JAL has committed to using sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, to cut CO2 emissions, but the technology remains expensive. Tottori has emphasized collaboration with global partners to find cost-effective solutions. Tottori's leadership journey is not just about JAL. It also highlights the ongoing struggle for gender equality in Japan's business world. Tottori's leadership isn't just about JAL, it's a test case for Japan's corporate gender gap. The government initially set a goal for 30% of leadership positions in major companies to be held by women by 2020, but progress was so slow that the deadline was pushed back to 2030. Japan has consistently ranked low in the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report, often around the 120th mark. Women make up only 15% of management roles at major firms, far below the 40% average in Western nations. Tottori herself acknowledges the difficulties. Unlike many Japanese women, she had a non-traditional work schedule as a flight attendant, which allowed her to share childcare responsibilities with her husband, who worked a standard office job. Many working mothers in Japan lack that flexibility, forcing them into part-time roles with limited career growth. While her appointment is historic, Tottori remains pragmatic. "I wouldn't call myself a pioneer," she says. "I'm lucky to be in this position, and I'm determined to do the best job I can." As the stakes rise, the question remains: can Tottori's unique background redefine success in an industry steeped in tradition? Tottori's background gives her a unique edge. She understands JAL's customer service challenges, employee dynamics, and frontline operations in a way that traditional CEOs do not. However, her lack of financial and technical aviation experience could be a major hurdle. In a deeply hierarchical corporate culture like Japan's, where decisions are made slowly through consensus, she will need to win over traditionalists while pushing for change. JAL's future profitability, safety record, and ability to compete with budget airlines will determine whether Tottori's leadership is seen as a brilliant disruption or a short-lived experiment. Her story is unfolding, and all of Japan is watching. Mitsuko Tottori becoming CEO of Japan Airlines challenges old ideas about gender roles and opens the door for change in Japan's business world. What do you think about Tottori's leadership and what it could mean for the airline industry? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.